Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Darren, and in today's video I just want to talk a little bit about some of the new updates we have for the patch 7.1. These are not particularly rogue updates. I feel like rogue updates will come out in the future, but they're just doing overall good things so far for patch 7.1. I'm not sure if most of these things are good for the PvE portion of the game, but definitely they're making some great changes for PvP. Some of the classes and specs in particular I want to address in this video are Boomkins and the PvP talent changes that they're having. DESTRO Warlock PVP changes, overhaul is basically what I'm looking at, and Windwalker monk stun nerfs, what I want to discuss for a little bit. 7.1 is going to be an exciting patch where there's going to be a lot of content from PvE to PvP, and one of the exciting things that I'm going to be looking for are some of the changes. Now currently, with the current patch we're in, the 7.0.3, there's a lot of things to take a look at, a lot of just changes to revert, some of the changes maybe to adjust, some classes and specs to adjust, and we're talking particularly in PvP. Now that we took a look at some of the classes, some of the PvP talents, we're kind of sitting there thinking, alright Blizzard, I am expecting changes. I'm expecting for you to make some changes to see what else can we do in this game. What else can we do? And basically that's what I want to talk a little bit about. I was actually pleasantly surprised reading through the patch notes at some of the changes Blizzard is making. And I'm looking at them mostly from the PvP perspective, and I'm thinking they're pretty damn good changes. I'm not sure how they're going to work out for PvE. I feel like for PvE, things eventually work themselves out. Some classes get tuned, some classes get buffed, and a lot of classes are getting looked at with their tier pieces. If all these buffs and nerfs aren't really looking good to you, then take a look at the classes after you get your tier pieces, after you get your 2-piece and 4-piece bonuses, and take a look at how all these specs are being played afterwards, because that's where it seems like most of the PvE concerns align into. Without further ado, I want to go take a look at some of the PvP changes, and first one I want to talk a little bit is about Boomy. I'm going to try to keep it short, but there's just a lot of good things that Blizzard are doing for Boomkins, and I'm pretty happy seeing this. Alright, so the first thing we want to take a look at are all the Boomkin changes, and most of the Boomy changes that are happening are in the druid PvP talents. For the most part, I don't really need to take a look at the notes in major detail to see some of the changes that are happening and kind of derive where Blizzard is going to, towards in terms of Boomy and PvP. I myself haven't really seen Boomies that much in PvP. I know that the new moon, the new moon, half moon, full moon capabilities of just hitting the target for 1 million damage, I feel like that's pretty strong, but otherwise we haven't really seen Boomies running around in BGs and arenas, or at least I haven't, and I feel like there are a spec that could see some improvement. So let's take a look at all the changes that Blizzard is doing. On the Wowhead side, on the left side, the dark side of the screen, we have the Wowhead, which are the current talents, and then on the right side we have MMO Champion with the PTR talents. Take a look at them. So the first three, again, Gladiator's Medallion, Adaptation, Relentless is all fine. Train of Thought, Mind, Quickness, Initiation are all there, but then it's tier 3. We have some different changes. What did druids have to deal with prior? Protector of the Grove. Using Heal and Touch on an ally always critically heals and reduces the casting of your Heal and Touch by 50% for 6 seconds. Interesting, basically gives Boomies a capability to be almost like a Resto Druid in some way. Shape Mender. Each time you activate Shapeshift form, you are healed for 5% of maximum health. I saw that this isn't the best talent anymore since Shapeshifting isn't, it actually takes a global cooldown now, so, well, it doesn't take a global, it occurs its own global cooldown within the Shapeshifting tree of all the, I guess, shapeshifts that you can become, so this isn't as good anymore. Druid of the Claw. While in bear form, you need a chance to be critically hit reduced by additional 10%. In bear form, hit by melee attacks while in bear form, you have a 10% chance to cast Rejuvenation on yourself for free of cost. One of the things that they've done wrong with Boomies in the past, and I remember this from playing with Tirga back in Warlords, is as a Boomie you have to sit bear if you want to play defensive, but then you literally can't even play. You literally cannot play because you're sitting in bear, all your abilities are Mooket form, you can't come out of bear form because you get entrained, and you literally just have to play bear. So it's just like, I felt it was a bit unfair. But let's take a look at some of the changes Blizzard is given to Boomies from here on. On the first, we have Iron Feather Armor. Increase your armor by additional 50%. Let's talk about Boomie's gonna train, and reduces your chance to be critically hit by melee attacks by 20% while in Mooket form. Ooh, Blizzard, that's good. So while in Mooket form, you are less likely to be trained by melee, or less likely to take insane amounts of damage from melee. You're less likely to be crit by melee. Basically, a constant bark skin, which is a bit insane. You have more armor, so you take less damage while you're in Mookin form. So basically, it says, hey, stay in Boomy form. That's your best defensive, which is insane, but it's at least a nice change. Protector of Regrowth. Using Regrowth on an ally critical heals and reduces the casting of Regrowth. I guess they replace Heal and Touch with Regrowth for most classes, so that's a thing. And then Celestial Guardian. While in bear form, you take 30% less damage from spells and receive 20% increased healing. Ooh, I like that. Against spellcasters, going bear form gives you even more protection against casts only. So that's actually pretty cool. I feel like with casters, it's really a CC game. So if you do go bear, you kind of are trying to avoid some of the CCs and you're kind of just trying to tank enemies' damage until maybe you can LOS. So I feel like this kind of fits because it does lock you out from being able to fight against a caster, while the boomies actually have a pretty a decent variety of spells that they can cast because you have two forms, you have nature and arcane, so it's hard to get locked down by, let's say, a DPS caster. And then while in bear form you take 30, I like this changes. I feel like they're pretty competitive, and if I were playing Boomy, I think this would be great. And then next we have Crescent Burn, Celestial Downpour, and Prickled Thorns. But then they changed it, where it's Crescent Burn, Celestial Downpour, and Eclipse changed out the position of Celestial Burn. Celestial Burn, using Moonfire on target, already affected by Moonfire damage, over time increase 35% additional direct damage. Okay, Celestial Downpour is increases the outward duration by 100%, and now Eclipse reduces the cooldown of Celestial Alignment by 60 seconds, and when you cast Celestial Alignment, a beam of light is summoned at your location, granting you 70% reduction in silence and interrupt for 10 seconds. I like these. One of them is more an AoE capability, just to keep up your Starfall, which also allows you to run around while casting, so you can utilize it to your capabilities. Crescent Burn allows you for being able to hammer out some damage on a single target, especially when you can't really stand and cast, so if you're able to stand and just like hit an enemy with Moonfire. And then Eclipse will allow you to be able to, if you are able to land a burst, to stand there and be less likely to be interrupted and have more options to when to burst. I kind of like this. You have this burst, consistent damage, and then AoE pressure options. In the fifth tree, it's original Touch of Stars, Twin Moonfire, Moonkin Aura. And the new one is Moonkin Aura, Dying Stars, or Prickling Thorns. And Prickling Thorns is what they took from the other tree. Prickling Thorns, when your integral root is moved, dispelled, or ends, the target takes 100k damage. Dying Stars, Sunfire, Moonfire generate extra power when they are dispelled. I like that. And the Moonkin Aura is whenever you start search, all allies within 40 yards have the critical strike chance increased by 50% for 12 seconds. Nice. This actually, I feel like, a pretty competitive. Because prior to that, Prickling Thorns, I don't know, I guess everybody went Crescent Burn for the most part, or Celestial Downpour in BGs. Pretty sure most people didn't pick Prickling Thorns, but now you can have Celestial Downpour and Prickling Thorns in order to be able to give you a little bit extra buff for CC, as well as being able to AoE people. So, I like the changes they made so far. Another set of changes we have for Warlocks are the PvP changes. They're not as big as, or as varied as the Boomkin changes, but the Warlock changes are pretty nice. First of all, Cremation is going to be an interesting talent. Where is it? Cremation. It's on the same tree as Firestone, so they changed this up a little bit as well. Alright, so it seems like only the bottom portions have been changed, so this is going to be an interesting... Actually, this is some good changes. I like it. So Cremation is going to be competitive with Focus, Chaos, and Firestone. Let's read all of them. Cremation. Immolate is now instant cast. About time for Destro Warlocks to get Immolate instacast, and Confligate deals an additional 8% of your target's total health in fire damage. You used to have to remove Immolate off of your target to deal the percentage health damage. Not anymore. Pop Confligate and bam, enemies take damage. I kind of like that. It is competitive with Focus. Chaos increases the damage of Chaos Ball by 200%, but it no longer is also cast on your targets afflicted by Havoc. So you can have Focus Chaos Bolts to be able to go back to Chaos Ball build where you can deal damage, but you can no longer split it. 200% damage increase. Competitive with Firestone, I feel, because Source to Soul Charge, 45-second cooldown, 100% crit for 7 seconds. These are competitive talents. I like what Blizzard has done. In the level 6 trait, you have Etched in Flames. Confligate roots targets for until cancelled. This effect does not break from damage. I guess Confligate will root enemies for a certain amount. I'm pretty sure not until cancelled, because you could just root them and just keep them there like, haha, done. Fell Fissure, I'm pretty sure that's where Chaos Bolt erupts Felt Fire under the target, dealing shadow damage and reduces all healing they take by 50%. And then Bane of Havoc to be able to put a curse on the ground for Havoc, so anybody standing in Havoc will also be a hit. So that's actually interesting. I like the level 63 because it gives you options. Pretty sure Etched in Flame is going to be an option for extra CC with roots, Fell Fissure for those Chaos Bolt builds, and Bane of Havoc for the AoE and BGs, while Tier 5 offers you massive burst with Firestone on the cooldown, Chaos, Focus Chaos where your burst of Chaos Bolts is increased, or Cremation where you can have a bit more mobility and a little bit more flexibility for sustained damage instead of burst. I like this. So far these changes are great. And now, the best change in the game thus far, drumroll please, Heavy-Handed Strikes. Your first strike of Fist of Fury knocks targets to the ground, stunning them for 4 seconds. Fist of Fury has a 5-yard increase range. They were going to make it a slow, they were going to make it some kind of a root, a snare, and it's back. But only your first fist stuns the target, so I guess it can keep stunning. Maybe they changed that a while ago. But yeah, they made it so that Fist of Fury no longer has a snare, it actually is back to the stun. So Windwalker monks are back to being with the bread and butter of double stun rotation, which is actually really cool. I'm very happy to see that. I mean, on one hand, it's like, yes, as a rogue, I get bursted by Windwalker monks a hell of a lot. But on the other side, I played one for a little bit and I was able to enjoy one on a beta. And I feel like if they did take out the stun rotation out of them with the Fist of Fury, it would just be silly for PvP. Just like that's been your bread and butter. And that seems to line up with the rest of your damage to stun your target while dealing massive damage. Is just one stun isn't enough. So having that second stun at a DR was the perfect touch for Windwalkers. I'm not sure if they have any better defensives or not. I can't comment on that, but I'm happy that they got heavy-handed strikes back. But what are your thoughts, guys, on the changes in 7.1? There's still more changes to come, but these are some of the changes that I found notable because those are the changes that were the biggest to affect. So what are your thoughts on Boomies, Warlocks, and Windwalker monks? Do you think they should get their stun back? Do you think Boomy PvP talent tree is looking pretty good? Do you think Destruction Warlocks are going to be much more competitive in PvP than they are currently? Well, they have okay representational ladder, but not quite as like Affy or Demo. I think Demo is actually the best right now. But anyway, guys, let me know everything in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go duck and cover because there's a hurricane coming to my area, and I'm going to bust out as many videos as I can before the hurricane sweeps my house away. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.